right, me and Davis today. Hi, how you doing today? Happy Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Having a thankful heart is a good trick. If you have a way to snap yourself into thankfulness, you can fix a lot of things. When I'm at my worst, thankfulness does not come easy. And as you know, I've been struggling a little lately. So when I riff in my brain about what I'm thankful for, I tend to go a little dark and comic, and that's not really healthy. So if I honestly say what I am thankful for right now, it's rocks. I'm about to open a rock shop. I started about a year ago. I started meditating 2 years ago, and rocks are just a natural part of it, even if you don't know what you're doing. And a year ago, I started to work with a lapidary artist named Garner Jarrett out of Los Angeles and study a little more and pay attention and do some auction bidding in some international websites. And I just haven't looked back. It's so exciting. But here's the punchline to you. Meditating without rocks is like learning to play electric guitar and never plugging in. You can play it really good, and as long as you're in a small thing and people can really listen in, and of course you can go to acoustic, and that's a big part of it, learning to play. But if you're on an electric guitar and you can't plug in, you're missing a big part of the experience. And that's what I would say about rocks. They help you open up your intuition, and more than that, there's really a lot of great science coming out about piezoelectricity, and of course that's been something for us for a long time. The quartz crystal is the most useful rock to humans, and that is because you can infuse it with intention. Quartz crystal is inside of us in terms of a molecular structure that it has, and when something has molecular crystalline structure, it really doesn't have anything to do with it being a crystal in and of itself. It has to do with whether that item conducts electricity. Like steel has molecular structure, even though it's not a crystal. So that molecular structure and things that don't collect electricity, what they have for molecular structure, if you don't have crystalline structure, you just have molecules that are just piled up and there's no pattern to them. And those patterns are called lattices, and they involve repeating patterns of the Platonic solids, of cubes, of tetrahedrons, of spheres, of octahedrons. And that's kind of how all this connects in terms of why we meditate with the Platonic solids, to infuse the rocks, to infuse our light bodies with our conscious intention. So today I picked out 4 rocks for each of the archangels. Crystals, you have a lot, they come out of the earth like this, which is so hard to believe. They're not polished and cut by humans. And then you count how many points they have and how many sides they have, and that gives them different powers, and it's really a whole complex system. This one it's a tabular 6-sided one, because all 6 don't come to a whole point. They come to different points, but there's definitely a 6-sided point here. Tabulars are for, hey, he's gonna tip over my ice. All right, while I'm talking, you can have a little ice. Tabulars are for unblocking the flow of energy, getting rid of blockages. So that is a healer's stone. I'm giving it to Gabrielle in the east of me. Don't eat my crystal. He's gonna think my crystal is an ice cube. This is a good honey. All right, so that's a good one for Gabrielle the healer. He is going to unblock my feeling of overwhelmness. I feel overwhelmed by the task at hand at opening my store. What do you feel unblocked? What do you feel blocked by? put an intention in my beautiful tabular crystal with me. It'll be waiting for you right here. I'll leave these in these spots for like a day. In the south, we have some chert, some chalcedony, some little bit of agate and a little bit of druzy. It's a wild rock that also looks like a, hey, that's not gonna work. I'm gonna have to put the dog up so this is for Michael because it is got a waxy natural finish that's a little bit blue, and also it is super hard. People do not want, like a regular quartz crystal is 5 or 6 and is cuttable into a lot of shapes, and no one wants to cut chalcedony. It's a very hard 7 mo's on the store. So an electric blue sword of Michael through this chalcedony to protect us for safe traveling, everybody in the holiday season, and to protect us from ourselves, from our emotional edges, to try to stay down the middle in terms of our emotions and get through a couple of days with intense family without resorting to the normal patterns of destruction, and how to move forward with love with our families. So that's for Michael. Are you gonna I'll put these on my knees. That's what I'll do in front of me. And then for Gabrielle, we have a 5-sided, terminated on one, wild on the other. It channels the feminine Isis. So it's perfect for Gabrielle, the nurturer. The cup, the silver cup with white lightning. The feminine side of me, and in a lot of us, is a little hyped up. I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like the feminine side of us isn't very feminine. So what I'm gonna put as my intention in this crystal that channels Isis and gets us the influence of the feminine divine is to drop your guard on the feminine side and enjoy the unconditional love of family. Let yourself feel it. It doesn't matter who you disagree with, who you don't like in your family. They're the people who have known you the longest. And there is a joy in that. Get to that joy with the help of the feminine, divine, Isis, Gabrielle. And last, we have a druzy quartz. This is a wild quartz I found, and it's like a little thumb button, and what happens is water drips down there over hundreds of years, and these crystals form quickly when they do, but it forms in a water hole, and there's just millions of them. They're little tiny crystals like grains of sand, and so I thought that would be a good one for Uriel, because Uriel is the scribe who helps communicate between humanity and the divine, and there's a lot of words involved. So all these little tiny druzy crystals that fit like a thumbprint, I'm going to infuse with my conscious intention that people think before they speak. People slow down enough not to have words of reaction, but words of love. In my family, in your family, and in our nation as a whole, words of love. New words for the new crystalline grid that lives in the earth and flows throughout the quartz of the whole planet. And these rocks are all quartz crystal. Chalcedony is a separate kind, but it still is. And we'll start a meditation now. Let's do some sedative breathing 4 in, 16 out, 4 in, 24 out, each twice. Breathe in and breathe out. Great. Breathe in 4. Breathe out 16. Breathe in 4. Deep, and 24 out. Fifteen, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, push, 22, 23, 24, and breathe in. And breathe out 24. Nineteen, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and breathe in. Yeah, strong. All right, so we're just gonna go straight, no images, on the 6 magnetic lines in your head. We breathe in, we breathe out, we hold our breath, we look down and in, we look up and in, and pulse. Do that with your eyes closed if you can. I do it with my eyes open so you can see. We do 7 breaths. We're on the 7th breath after that, and on the 7th breath, we open the prana tubes like pipes of water, and prana light from heaven comes through underneath and above us to meet in our belly, starts a light embryo. It gets bigger on the 9th through the next 3 breaths. On the 9th breath, it turns golden. On the 10th breath, you resist the exhale and then push it out. That blows that bubble up all around you. You stabilize it by concentrating on a triangle that goes between your third eye and these 2 hands. And on the 14th breath, you change your mudras for the in-breath and move it from your belly to your heart. That's what we're about to do. Here we go. Breathe in with your first finger and your thumb. Breathe out. Eyes down and in, up and in, pulse. Second finger, breathe in. Breathe out. Eyes down and in, up and in, pulse. Next finger, ring finger. In and out. Hold your breath. Eyes down and in, up and in, pulse. Pinky and thumb together, breathe in. Breathe out. Hold your breath. Eyes down and in, up and in, pulse. First finger and thumb again. Breathe in. Breathe out. Hold your breath. Down and in, up and in, pulse. Second finger and thumb. In and out. Hold your breath. Down and in, up and in, pulse. 2 fingers together with your thumb, breathing in on the 7th breath. Prana tubes open. Light pours in while you breathe in, nice and slow. And breathe out, and the bubble of light appears. Little embryo of light that grows and grows. Breathe in on breath 8, it gets bigger. The prana is coming from above and below, meeting in your belly button, filling a little bubble. It gets bigger and bigger. Breathe out on 8. Breathe in on 9. The light turns from white to gold. It gets more intense and reaches its full size. Breathe out. 9, beautiful. Breath 10 in. Gets brighter, more golden, the size of a full baby of light right here, and you resist your breath and blow it out on the out of 10. And the light surrounds you. Golden pot of light that you are sitting in. Breath 9 in, or breath 11 in. Your job is to stabilize that light. The prana continues to flow in from both directions. There is a triangle between your fingers and your third eye. 12, breathing in and breathing out. Stabilize the sphere. 13, breathing in and 13, breathing out. Prepare to move your mudras to here. Feel the attachment to your belly button, which you are going to unhook on the in-breath of 14 and move to your heart. Here we go. And now you are connected from your heart center to a bubble of light that have come through you from the other world and to you. Allow your breathing to relax. Just enjoy what I've got, like a haze. It's kind of misty. The gold light was bright for a while and now it's kind of broken around me. What's your landscape look like? Let's do some landscaping. I got an axe, just the head of an axe. And if you tip the axe up and split it in half, you'd have a mirror image of an axe to itself. And then I'd like that to start spinning. So you've got a disc that's really a blade spinning. And I want you to just leave it there. A little rumba, something ready to clean up, but not till you give the command. Spinning blade. Mine's blue. It's got like blue tips on it. But anyway, it's sharp and it's a spinning disc. And we're going to use it today. We're going to cut a few cords. We're going to think about your family as an actual tree. A stump, a tall oak, a old and new tree. What is it to you? What does your family tree look like? Many families have more than one tree in terms of just the immediate. Give your tree some characteristics. You know, does it have a lot of low-lying branches? Is it a pine? Is it a deciduous tree? Is it a palm tree? Does it have roots that kind of come out of the ground and form in its stalk? What is the texture of the bark like? The first thing I want you to do is I want you to give that tree a giant hug. Because your electromagnetic connection with the earth that is reaching for the sky and photosynthesizing the sun every day could not be more apparent than in trees, and especially your family tree. So we're just going to start with the love you have for trees and transfer that to your family, and your love for your family and transfer that to trees. It goes both ways. And, you know, how are those trees? Do they need a little trimming? You like them how they are? Does it need to be cut down? Hope not. You have a blade off to the side. You can do what you want. It's your tree. Trim it up. Don't touch it. Cut it down. It's your call. For every decision we make in the world of intuition, there is the masculine way, the electric way, which spins to the right, and that is logic. That is one thing after another leads to this thing. It's pretty much dominating the value of our world. The feminine, magnetic way of responding is to say, I don't care how we do it, I just want to feel good about it. Is to totally concentrating on the feeling of something. And that is the side that we all could use a little bit more. We would be a more balanced world if people wouldn't consider that a negative thing, just another choice. And lastly, you always have a choice to do nothing. Always. Sometimes that's the very, very heart of wisdom, is to wait and see. But without action, there is no life. I don't advocate for wait and see naturally. I'm a real get out there and bowl them over in any way I can kind of person. So I need a lot more of the wait and see medicine. As we proceed into our psychic landscapes, is there a part of you that's hurting really bad right now? What does that part look like? Why is it hurting? What can you do to soothe it in terms of its harshness as a landscape? Is it too soft and it needs to be blown out? Is it so hard that it needs to be sanded and polished? These are all very different things, but it's your landscape, your chance to balance your landscape. You've got a saw, a light saw that we put together. When I come into my most prickly emotion right now, it is sharp black rocks that you couldn't climb because they're so steep. They're not really big, they're kind of low to the ground. But I'm going to cut them. I'm going to get rid of them for the holiday. So I'm going to grab my saw and I'm just going to picture it floating 2 inches above the ground, and I'm just going to maybe add a little water like a wet saw to it. But I gotta keep it horizontal to the ground, and I'm just gonna steep, sharp, black rocks gone. What do you have like that, and how do you handle it? Maybe you don't need a saw, maybe you need another tool. Make that tool for yourself. Then, when it comes to the motion of your landscape, say you're driving a car and you got that wheel in front of you and you're driving down the road of your own inner landscape, and I just want you to think about how you're holding the wheel in terms of pressure. Are you afraid? Are you doing it with one finger and not paying attention? 10 and 2, people. You need to be firm and easy in all that you do. Don't hold the wheel too tightly, even now as we move along. I want you to think about something that is your prize for getting through the holiday. Just this weekend, not the whole holiday, just Thanksgiving. Is it when it's all over and you're home and you did it? Is it could be a TV show, it could be just a certain point you know you will get to in the weekend of food. Something in our 3D sensory world that keeps you motivated. And you want to keep your eye on the prize, and so I want you to, what I'm picturing, we go out to eat and the people in the restaurant make a fuss over my mom, and I'm picturing that display of love that these people who serve us Thanksgiving dinner every year show us as my prize, the light in their eyes as they speak to my mom and how proud they are to be the ones to serve us on this holiday. That's my prize. What's your prize? Put it in your landscape. Landscape isn't just for imagining parts of yourself that are difficult, it's also for building up what's working. You need to go with what works. That moment of joy, where is it? Keep that in your brain and then say, thank you, it is already done. The blessing and the manifestation of our love for our families on this holiday will be apparent in how we talk and listen and eat and drive. We will move about the world with love for our fellow humans. I thereby take everybody doing this video with me and our intentions of this and put it into the 4 rocks I have around me. I think the main thing about Thanksgiving is that gluttony and thankfulness don't really go together. What goes together is sharp imagery and thankfulness. Those 2 things go together really well. So if you can appeal to yourself to be moderate in your sensory intake, to not overwhelm yourself, to drive the car down the middle of the road emotionally, and remember that your family loves you. Get through it just fine. I hope you have a good one. I'm going to have to take the weekend off because I'm having guests, so we'll pick it up again next Monday. And, if you miss me, play some of the others. I've made 12 already, so that's pretty good. Yeah, 12. All right. You good, Davis? Did you have a good one? Bye. Happy Thanksgiving.